Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well this early morning. Instead of late night, it's early morning. I have such a good one that I came on now. At my time it's 6:47 a.m. So for me that's early morning. But it's so good. So if you're feeling bad about your life, or I don't know, maybe you've already broken your New Year's promise, which I didn't even make, so I didn't break it. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. You're doing so much better than this person in every way possible. And she can't stop lying. And she keeps digging it deeper and deeper and deeper. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. It's amazing. But first, I just want to go I just want to go to a different courtroom for two quick clips before I get to the main one. No one's above the law. We know this. No one is supposed to be above the law. But this guy should be. We should make an exception. We should write a letter or something. But you'll see why.
Mr. McIntosh is here. He's impro per. It's People versus Buster Howard McIntosh, file 23-2255-ST-2. The original charge is failure to report accidents to fixtures. Mr. McIntosh is here with his son as well.
He's definitely not here with his father.
And Mr. McIntosh, if it's better for you to sit, I don't want to make you stand up. You're okay? Okay, very good. So that is file 2255 of 2023, People versus Buster McIntosh. And you don't have an attorney, correct?
Beg your pardon?
You don't have an attorney today, correct?
No, sir.
All right. And Mr. Chamberlain, again, what is the plea offer that's been made?
As I understand it, it's a delay of and with restitution. I don't have a restitution figure at this time.
And that is to the charge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. McIntosh, is that what you want to do? Is plead guilty?
Yes.
With the understanding this would be a delay of sentence so long as you complete the probation term successfully. The prosecutor will dismiss the charge at the end of the probation period.
I'm guilty.
Okay, I wish it was that simple, but I have to go through some rights with you before I can accept your plea, okay?
Yes, sir.
So the first of those is I need to make sure you understand if you don't successfully complete the probation period, then the conviction the conviction would become a permanent part of your record for failure to report an accident to fixtures. And you could be sentenced up to 90 days in jail. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Has anything else been promised to you to get you to change your plea? Other than the delay? No. Okay. And you haven't been threatened or forced in any way to get you to change your plea, have you?
No.
And I need to go over your trial rights with you also. Do you understand you do have a right, because this is a criminal charge, to be presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, to have a jury trial, and you understand you're giving up those rights by pleading guilty, correct?
Yes.
You're also giving up the right to call witnesses against you, to have those witnesses appear in court, to have witnesses ordered to be here by the court if necessary. You're giving up the right to testify or to remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you. You understand you're giving up all those rights as well.
Yes.
And you're giving up the right to appeal the conviction is also. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then let's go to the case. It says here that on November 16th, you were involved in an accident with a mailbox, apparently, in Cleveland Township and Leelanau County. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
And rather than stop and notify the owner of the mailbox or call the police, you left the scene. Is that right?
I called her.
You did call the neighbor?
I know her 30 years.
Okay. The requirement of the law is that you, let's see, take reasonable steps to locate and notify the owner of the property as soon as possible. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Did you stay there at the scene of the accident? Go up to the house, knock on the door?
I called and there's no answer. There was no answer. Calling
So
her.
you did that,
Yes, sir.
okay. Mr. Chamberlain?
Just a moment. Your Honor, apologies if I know I was speaking, I had to put my coat on.
Oh, is this your case, Mr. Short?
I handled the pre-trial on it.
Okay,
It's his statement today. It's not within the police report. Obviously, not everything's always in the police report that he drove home. I think it's roughly 4 miles immediately after the accident. I believe his statement is that he tried to call her afterwards. I don't have confirmation of that one way or the other. But he did not go up to the door of the scene afterwards. He, after the accident, drove home and was ultimately located at his home by a police officer, which I think was roughly 3.5, 4 miles away.
okay. Does that sound correct to you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So then to the charge of fail to report an accident to fixtures, how do you plead?
Yeah, I didn't call the sheriff.
Okay, so how do you plead?
I'm guilty.
All right, I'll accept your plea, find it is voluntary, accurate, and understanding. So, Mr. Short, it's been recommended there be a delay of sentence in this case. I'm going to go along with that. Are there any conditions other than payment of restitution that you're requesting?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. McIntosh, is there anything else you want me to know about this before I decide on a sentence?
Can I tell you what happened?
You go ahead. This is the time to do that.
Your Honor,
I live,
it's a victim's crime, so we actually have to wait
I
10
live
days.
3 or 4 minutes from her.
Okay, hang on. The prosecutors pointed out this is a victim's rights crime. The victim has a right to be here and participate in the sentencing. So I'm going to have to adjourn the hearing today for sentencing and have you come, and then we'll decide on the sentence, okay?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Martin, you want to pick a date for that?
Sure. How about January 20? You're not going to order a PSI, are you?
No, I don't think so. I just want the police report and the lien information.
Okay. So January 26th at 9:30.
Is that going to work for
What day is
your
that?
father?
My day is.
It's a Friday, sir. It'll be 2 weeks from today.
That'll be fine.
That'll work? Okay. All right. So we're going to be back on that date and time. And then I'll want to hear everything you have to say about it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. We're all set.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meanies. Quit picking on him. You leave him alone.
Mr. is next.
His lawyer left without him and had to come back and get him. All he did was hit a mailbox. I do that every Friday night. What's the big deal? Okay. The next guy, we're gonna see this guy too, that's down at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna watch him quick too. And then we're gonna go to the star of our show.
23 people versus David Hines. Mr. Hines, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Mr. Razovy is here on behalf of Mr. Hines and Mr. Chamberlain for the people. This is the date for a plea. And Mr. Raspy, is that what Mr. Hines still wishes to do?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hines wishes to waive his right to trial, plea as charged with the recommendation from the prosecutor's office for credit for time served.
Mr. Chamberlain, is that an accurate and complete statement of the plea agreement?
I don't have the plea down here, but as an officer of the court, I trust Mr. Razaby.
All right. How many days has the defendant served on this already, Mr. Raspy? If you know.
I do not know. This happened while he was in custody, so this assault was in the jail. He is scheduled to be released, I believe, February 2nd.
This appears
February.
I'm
February.
sorry.
February 1st is my out date.
Okay, and the assault is alleged to have occurred on November 29th. So let's see, that's at least 2 months.
a month and a half.
Oh, you're right. Well, I mean, by the time February 1st rolls around, that'll be over 2.
Pardon me. I from the time of the assault, my bad.
Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Hines, is that what you wish to do?
Yes, I'm guilty.
Okay. Other than the prosecutor's offer to not recommend any additional jail time, has anything else been promised to you to get you to change your plea?
No, Your Honor.
Have you been threatened, forced, or coerced in any way to get you to change your plea?
No, Your Honor.
And you understand if I accept your plea this morning, you'll be giving up any future claims that your plea was a result of promises, threats, or other inducements that have not been disclosed.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
I'm gonna take you.
All right. Do you also understand that if I accept?
Get ready for school, because I'm going to take you.
But Mom,
Hang on just a second.
What?
Okay, I think I've.
just so you know, that lady yelling was the last case. And she was in here because for child abuse, because even though she thought it was out of her system, she breastfed her baby cocaine milk.
Got that taken care of. All right, so
I cannot have on top of PS and my already. I cannot.
I believe that's Miss Atkinson. You're still on Zoom.
I'm sorry. Harry, seriously, you want me to trouble?
all right, sorry about that. So where was I? Oh, you also understand if I accept your plea, you'll have a conviction for assault and battery, and that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Has Mr. Raspy answered all of your questions to your satisfaction?
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
Good to hear. I need to go over your trial rights with you, make sure you understand those before I'm able to accept your plea, so please listen carefully. You have the right to be presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and you have the right to a jury trial. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also have the right to have witnesses against you, appear at a trial to cross-examine those witnesses and present your own evidence and witnesses, and the court will order those witnesses to appear if need be. Do you understand those rights?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
In addition, you have the right to testify at a trial, or if you choose to remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you plead guilty, you're giving up the right to appeal you'd have if you went to trial. Do you understand that?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand you're giving up all of those rights when you plead guilty? And is that what you wish to do? And is it of your own free will?
Yes, I do. And yes, it is of my own free will.
All right. The complaint alleges that on November 29th, at a location in Suttons Bay Township, Leelanau County, you assaulted Bruce Redd, apparently another inmate there at the jail. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
How did you assault Mr. Redd?
I just punched him a couple times in the head, and that was probably it. Probably 3-4 times, and that was it. Another guy grabbed me and slammed me to the ground. It happened really fast. He was a strong guy. I don't think I hurt him. So I'm sorry about that. It was in the jail. He was picking on me, and it was really bad for me. I'm sorry that I did that. Leelanau County was a really nice place. It's a really nice jail there, and I didn't mean to get in trouble there. It's a nice place. I'm sorry. I won't ever do anything wrong there again.
All right. And apparently he was picking on you, but it's the old sticks and stones might break my bones, but words can never hurt me, right? He wasn't assaulting you at the time, right?
No, he wasn't assaulting me, but it still hurt pretty bad. It was.
Okay. So then to the charge of assault and battery, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I'll accept your plea, find it's voluntary, accurate, and understanding. And Mr. Razby, what else would you like? Well, this is not a victim's rights crime because the defendant was incarcerated at the time. So we'll go directly to sentencing. Mr. Razby.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I appreciate that. As you can hear from Mr. Hines, he takes responsibility for his actions. This was pretty straightforward with Mr. Hines. He shared with me that he was a trustee in Grand Traverse County Jail. He was moved over to Leelanau County Jail, and unfortunately, as he indicated, he sort of got picked on there, and that's where he found himself in this situation. As he already indicated, though, that's not how he should have handled the situation. He understands that. He is remorseful for his actions. So I do think that this resolution is fair and justified. I spoke to him about his future. He and his mother have reconnected. She's going to be assisting him with a place to stay and helping him to get work so he can begin working as soon as he gets out here in February.
All right. What does the prior record look like, Mr. Razby?
Your Honor, I just reviewed it. There's 13 93-day misdemeanor or above. There's about 4, 5, 6 that are 90 days for things like trespass. I see 2 felonies and possibly an attempt felony, one that may be an attempted felony as well. It's for attempted malicious destruction of fire police property. It is a misdemeanor as an attempt as normal. I'm not sure if that would be I don't recall off the top of my head. So there's roughly 20 convictions. Let me rephrase that. 20 convicted charges, but some of them were multiples on the same day.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Razby, does that sound about right?
Well, we did not receive all that information. I don't dispute it. I don't know you know, I guess from what I'm hearing, I don't know that violence has been a thing we've seen much of, but that does sound about right, given that he was in Grand Traverse County Jail for an extended period of time here.
All right. So, Mr. Chamberlain, anything else you'd like to add on behalf of the prosecutor?
I will stick to what we said, that we'll agree to credit for time served. I think it might be prudent to just inquire whether or not after he's out of Grand Traverse, if he will be on probation or have any sort of anger management, but we'll stick to our credit for time served.
All right, Mr. Rasby, do you know anything about the other case?
Yeah, I did ask about that. He was given a straight jail sentence upon his release.
And what was that for?
The attempted malicious destruction of police property. I don't have any probation or parole or anything.
What was your sentence there? How many months?
I had 1 year. I was just given a 1 year sentence.
All right. So this is sentencing on the defendant's conviction of assaulting another inmate. I do appreciate Andrew, Mr. Hines. There was no attempt to hide what happened, but then there was also a video of the whole thing. Apparently the other inmate was not badly injured, had some redness, it says. The defendant has spent a year in jail. I'm wondering, did you lose some good time credit as a result of assaulting another inmate?
No, I was a boarder over there. I was being boarded over in Leelanau County Jail because the Grand Traverse County Jail is really full. It's overcrowded. So I had a chance to go over to Leelanau County Jail, which was a better jail. I didn't know they had a policy to where if I got in a fight, I had to automatically come back to Grand Traverse County Jail, and I couldn't stay in Leelanau at the Leelanau County Jail anymore, which is a lot better jail.
Well, why they would give good time credit, I do not understand this at all. But I do understand the jails are very reluctant to take that away. But if anything should prompt taking that good time credit away, it's you assaulting another inmate. And if you're getting good time credit, I'm going to write a letter to them about your other case and tell them they oughtn't do that. But that's up to them. There's statutes and it's their decision. But I'm gonna write a letter telling them they shouldn't do that.
That's a low blow,
You know
Judge.
why? Because you're in jail for committing a crime, and the last thing you should be allowed to do is commit other crimes while you're there in jail. And I don't care if the other inmate is picking on you. You report that to a corrections officer. But just a cursory review of your record, there are at least 3 other assaultive offenses on your record. You got 30 days on your first DV, 90 on an A and B and 11, 18 months on the DV, probably second or felony in 2012. And that's just up through 2012. So you probably deserve the whole amount, but the prosecutors agreed to cap it at whatever credit you have through February 1st. So I'm just going to indicate that your earliest release date on this offense is February 1st, okay?
Oh, okay, Your Honor.
All right. I'm also going to impose a fine of $100, costs are $375 crime victim 50 judicial system fee, and there's a $275 court-appointed attorney fee. we're all set for this morning, and please stay out of trouble.
I will, Your Honor. Can I just make this clear? So am I getting time served for this assault and battery?
You are.
Okay, and I'm sorry.
But I'm
And then
write that letter in Grand Traverse County case. I want them to know I don't think good time is appropriate if they're giving you that.
So what do you mean you're trying to take my good time?
We'll have to talk to your attorney about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
You get a chance. All right.
Okay, all right, but no more time for the assault and battery.
No. You'll be out February 1st, is what I said. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be out February 1st.
That's right. Yeah, we're all set, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Chamberlain.
Am I talking to you, Razavi?
You got to log off. We'll talk. You can
I got
call. Yep.
Okay, so I'm just. Oh.
They muted him. They didn't mute the lady yelling up to her kid that she wanted to take him to school, but they mute him right away. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the judge is going to write a letter and take away his good time. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard a judge do that before. The judge usually, they stay out of what happens in the jail. That's up to the jail. That's up to the jail. That's up to the jail. But, oh, are you outside working, Jess? Jesse's outside in the cold, guys. Working. She's at work. He's at work? I can't see. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know what the letter's going to do. The jail obviously doesn't have to follow it. It's not a rule. It's not like a judgment or anything. But, okay, guys. All right. No matter how bad your life is, you're going to feel so much better about it after you watch this next clip. I named it in my when I was naming it in my file, I named it Shameless because, you watch Shameless and no matter how bad your life is, you feel okay because it's not as bad as the people in Shameless. That's how this woman is. And she continually makes it worse the whole time. And she doesn't stop talking the whole time. Don't worry. The judge doesn't shut her up like Judge Allen did to us yesterday. Here we go. It's great.
Spell.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're here today in the state of Ohio versus Selena McKenna, case number 23 CR 610. We're set today for sentencing. We were last before you on December 19th, 2023 for an information hearing. At that time, the defendant pled guilty to count 1, aggravated possession of drugs, a felony of the 5th degree with a forfeiture specification. During that hearing, a pre-sentence report and drug alcohol evaluation were ordered and have since been completed. The defendant has 9 days of jail time credit, and there is a joint recommendation for community control or minimum prison, I guess, depending on what Ms. Tuttle will say. Thank you.
Tuttle.
Thank you, Your Honor. McKenna would ask the court to adopt the joint recommendation of the parties for a period of community control. Since she was in for her pre-sentence report, she was able to complete that assessment with Lake Geauga. They are recommending that she attend 1 individual counseling session a week and 3 additional meetings by Zoom. She thinks that this will be more effective for her and more efficient because I know that one of her concerns is the other people that she might meet in the treatment center kind of pulling her off track or bringing her to a place that she shouldn't be or having her engage in behavior she shouldn't engage in. She's nervous about meeting other people that are at the same location as her, just based on her history and based on her past. She wants to be able to focus on herself. Selena also has a pending misdemeanor case out of Chardon Municipal Court that's set for a pretrial on the 29th of this month. I know that she would like to resolve that case as well and deal with it moving forward. She does have a stable residence. She lives with her brother on his property. She is able to attend those meetings. She has internet. She has everything that she needs to do. They're willing to offer her rides for her individual counseling. So I know that she's looking forward to getting back on track and being able to complete that program. Thank you.
When was this assessment completed?
What days did you do that on?
Came here the 28th. It was, January 2nd.
Do you have that?
I do not have a copy.
Do you have that?
I do not have it, Your Honor.
Who did you see there?
Anne Marie at Lake Geauga in Chardon. I unfortunately was sick the week prior. My brother had tested positive for COVID, so they changed the appointment to a later date, which ended up being January 2nd.
Okay, I have a drug and alcohol evaluation
Sorry, guys, let's do something real quick. Let's take a shot every time she lies. Here we go.
from Lake Geauga dated January 10th.
That was the drug and alcohol, that we did the risk assessment on January 2nd.
Your Honor, I think she may be referring to the drug and alcohol assessment completed by our department.
Right.
The date is January 10th because it was printed out and filed into the document.
All right, well,
The drug and alcohol assessment completed by your department was on the 28th. Like I said, my brother had tested positive for COVID. So basically my whole house was not going anywhere.
You don't live in the house, do you?
I still go into the house regularly because that's where the shower is. And my brother still transports me to a lot of locations. I ended up sick also.
Okay, well, then I'm not sure why what I have from the 10th doesn't reference what happened on the 2nd.
I cannot answer that. I don't know.
The recommendation here is NeoCap, mental health evaluation, anger management, 3 to 5 AA meetings a week, employment, and no drugs. That's the recommendation from Lake Geauga that I have. And you said your recommendation as a result of the Chardon people is what?
According to what Anne Marie told me January 2nd, before I left her office, she said that she wanted me to come in for one individual counseling appointment a week, and I actually am scheduled to be there tomorrow. 3 Zoom meetings, NA meetings a week, my peer supporter there also said that she would be willing to help with transportation and that, so that I can make it to the appointment. I got to go to the psychiatrist next week in Manor for Lake Geauga.
Who's the psychiatrist?
I don't remember her name. They called me. It was early in the morning. It's scheduled for 11 a.m. on the 16th in Manor.
What's the counseling for?
PTSD.
They diagnosed you with PTSD?
I was diagnosed with PTSD whenever I was in prison from 21 to 22 by ODRC, and they agreed to the diagnosis of PTSD, but they said that they are not the ones to do that, so they have to have me go to the psychiatrist to formally have it put into their records.
They don't recommend any drug treatment?
Well, that's what the one individual counseling session with Anne Marie a week, I believe, is supposed to be. And they were recommending 3 NA meetings by Zoom a week.
Are they still, Kaylee, doing the stupid Zoom AA meetings?
Online, you can find them anywhere, but we don't accept them as meetings.
Those not real, those are just pretend meetings.
I don't know, I've never done them. I mean, my peer supporter, because she offered
What
to
do you
actually
mean peer
take-
supporter? What does that mean?
A peer supporter, they work, she works for Lake Geauga. It's somebody who's actually gotten clean and sober. They do a course, a college course, and it's somebody that's been in your shoes at one point in time, but has actually gotten their life back on track and is clean.
You ever heard of that through Lake Geauga?
I have not, Your Honor.
Do you have any idea why Lake Geauga didn't send all this information to either your lawyer or the probation officer or the court?
I do not. I know that if you call them, that they will confirm it.
I mean, do you have a drug problem?
I don't think so. I had a jerk boyfriend problem.
How long have you been using drugs?
I mean, I started smoking weed as a teenager, like most people, but I quit because of the paperwork for the courts. I mean, every time I have to quit, I always do.
Well, you just tested positive when you were over at probation after this plea, right?
I thought I tested negative.
You tested positive on the 28th.
Okay. That was probably from the beginning of the month.
Negative on the first test, but positive on the second test.
How the heck did that happen? That don't even make
Well, it
sense.
probably happened because you smoked pot.
No, I didn't. I haven't smoked any pot.
Well, you went over there on December 19th after your plea and you tested negative. Then you went over on December 28th and you tested positive for marijuana.
I have not smoked any marijuana.
Then how did you test positive?
I don't know. I didn't know that I did.
Did you go through IOP before with any organization?
Back in 2018, I went to Ravenwood. It was very exhausting because I was still working, running my company at the time.
What company?
I had Dee's Amish Transportation Service out of Middlefield, along with Dee's Roadside Mechanic. Roadside and Taxi is why I ended up combining them.
What do you do now?
I'm a mechanic.
Where do you work?
I work basically on the back slab, cement slab at my property.
How do you get work?
My customers from before still call. I'm actually looking at, if I do get to leave this courtroom today, I was going to apply at my brother's company because they are hiring currently. My one brother's been there a couple years. He's the lead. And my other brother's been there about a year. So there's transportation going to and from the company.
What is it?
Oh, Orbis on Tyler Boulevard in Menor.
What do they do?
They make packing supplies. It's part of Mencia Corporation. It's a large corporation across the country.
What happened with your probation in Geauga County a couple of years ago?
I was a month from being off. I got a phone call to do a trip for an Amish down to Guernsey County. I left out of town that day to do the trip. I received a phone call from my right-hand man because the PO, I guess, had been trying to call me that morning. I tried calling her back 3 times. She did not answer. I sent her an email to ask her what was up just after lunch, and she replied back just after 4:30 telling me she had issued a warrant because she wanted me there before 3.
Which court was that?
That was municipal.
When was that?
That was 2019, I want to say. 2018, 2019. It's the only time I did not successfully complete probation. I ended up doing the time instead. I have successfully completed probation 3 times out of this county, back about 20 years ago.
So you do not have a drug problem?
I don't think, I mean, I will agree with going to meetings, I'll agree with staying sober, and I believe that I can do this without going to jail.
What's with this drug trafficking in Geauga?
I was arrested a week after my mother's death. Basically, whenever I got out of jail, whenever I did the time when I just told you about for the probation violation, I got out of jail. My mom had relapsed very badly before her death, and I couldn't go home because she was just so far off the wall, off the chain. It was just crazy. All of my tools, I want to assume that she sold them for drugs, along with a lot of my winter gear and clothes, because basically everything was gone. Yeah, I only had 1 of 3 of my vehicles left when I got home, and it was not even in running condition. It would barely make it 2.5 miles to town. Because they had cracked the block. They didn't even change the oil the whole time I was gone. And I ended up moving in with a lady I met the day I got out of jail. My right-hand man picked me up. He had been selling drugs. I didn't know this because I was just getting out of jail. And he had moved in with this lady that was selling drugs. And, I was just like, no, don't do this. I don't want nothing to do with this. Anyways, I ended up putting money down on a van and trading in my 2 vans, put down the last of what I had to get another vehicle so I could work. And the guy took, it was like, I'd been doing business with him for 10 years, so I didn't think nothing big of it. He's like, well, write up the paperwork when the mechanics are done fixing the front end. Time goes by. I'm like, this was supposed to be done. It got to be about 3 weeks later. I'm like, look, I don't care if you got to bring it over here on the tow truck. Bring it over. Let's do the paperwork, and I'll fix the thing myself in the driveway. This is ridiculous that you guys don't have a front end done in 3 weeks. And he's like, oh, let me put it to you this way. You know that my subcontractor, Kevin, was helping out? And I go, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm talking about our deal with the van. He goes, well, let me put it to you this way. You help me by helping him, and I'll help you. Otherwise, both of your vans have been crushed, and there's no paperwork wrote up about it. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So I ended up hooking the guy up because I didn't see another way out of it. There was 9 inches, no
Hooking the guy up with what?
Nah, that's what he wanted.
Right.
There was
meth before? How did you know where to get meth to sell it?
Because the lady I moved in with whenever I got out of jail, where they took me to, was selling meth.
So you were charged in Geauga with trafficking in drugs of felony 4, 2 counts of felony 3 trafficking, and possession of felony 3. That was all a result of you hooking this guy up with meth?
Yes.
That's not believable.
Well, what happened, he took, and I hooked him up, okay, and then freaking, from there, then I took, and Crystal did the van title like he said. My mom died, and I still owed tax and title. He only gave me 10 days to pay tax and title. So 3 days after the van came into my possession, he told me, that's when my mom passed. A week later is whenever he basically told me, he called me up. He goes, if you don't pay tax and title by the end of today, I'm repoing your van. Because I only had 10 days to pay tax and title. That's what he had wrote it up for in the contract. And then this guy calls me up, and I'm going, okay, well, he wants this much, and I thought I would make enough money on the sale to pay tax and title so that I could at least keep my van so I could continue working. And yeah, the one charge was actually because the lady that I lived with went to Walmart. She answered the phone while I was sleeping or in the shower. She texted him back, and she went to Walmart, and she met the guy in the parking lot and sold him a quarter.
And you got...
And I got the charge for it.
Why? How did that happen?
Because they said that, because he called on my phone. That's what they told me. I was like, how does that happen?
Did you go to a trial, or did you plead guilty?
I pled out to it.
And why did you plead to something you didn't do?
Because I didn't think I could bring her to trial.
So the only time that you've ever sold drugs was in this Geauga nonsense in 21? Is that right?
Well, I used to sell drugs in my early 20s. I just never got caught.
Okay.
And that's, yeah.
Did you sell drugs in use, or did you sell just to make money?
I started off to make money because I got hurt at work, and eventually it turned into a habit because everything just started falling apart, and I ended up walking away from all of it. Got clean, sober, I walked away.
Why did you walk away?
Because life was crazy.
Okay, so then why were you using marijuana last month?
I didn't smoke marijuana. I seriously do not know how marijuana got into my system.
All right. Did you have, when you were over probation, did you have a little pipe with you?
That was a tobacco bowl.
What was in the tobacco bowl?
Marijuana.
I had brought a cigarette pack with tobacco in it with me because I didn't have any cigarettes. I was broke, so I took the butts out of my ashtray and I broke the tobacco off into the cigarette pack, and then I was putting it into the freaking aluminum bowl.
Why are you smoking cigarette tobacco in a bowl?
Because I didn't have any other way of smoking it. I had no money. So I couldn't buy any papers. I couldn't buy cigarettes.
Where did you get the tobacco?
Out of my butts in my ashtray from my old cigarettes.
What do you know about that, Miss Warren? About this bowl?
It was found in the locker where she put her belongings. Craigberry took it out to see what it was, and he stated that he found marijuana to it.
She said, if you didn't hear her, it was found in her belongings, and then they tested it, and there was marijuana in it.
Well, so my boyfriend must have put marijuana in it then.
Come on now. Come on.
Or I grabbed the wrong one. Because I seriously bought
Where did you get the bowl?
I got some aluminum. It was in my shed. I had asked my brothers for some aluminum foil whenever I ran out of cigarettes because they weren't going to loan me $5 for a pack of
So it's a homemade bowl?
Yes.
Was it a homemade bowl?
It appeared that way, Your Honor.
Okay. You know what? You know what this appears to me? What all this appears to me? Do you want to know how this appears to me? No?
I'm waiting for you to tell me.
It appears to me that you use a lot of drugs, that you don't want to admit you use a lot of drugs, that you can't stop using drugs, that there's some mental health component to this. And that you need a lot of help to deal with these things. That's what it appears to me. Am I wrong or am I right?
I think I'm capable of staying sober. Okay, if I might have grabbed the wrong homemade bowl, that's possible because my old man does smoke weed. But
well, if you accidentally smoked weed, you would have known the moment you smoked it that it was weed and not cigarette tobacco, right?
No, because I did feel the bowl was cigarette tobacco.
Okay, you don't know the difference between cigarette tobacco and wacky tobacco?
Not whenever you put a bunch of regular tobacco in the bowl, you would taste tobacco.
See, I just don't think you're being honest with me.
I mean, if I had packed it with weed, then I would say I packed it with weed. I did not pack it with weed. I've been actually avoiding it as much as possible. But that's why I'm like really surprised.
What do you mean as much as possible?
Well, my old man smokes it, so he, like I walked in the other day and the whole shed smelled like weed.
Who's the old man?
Mike Reho.
Is this the guy that ran away into the woods and did some meth?
No, I don't think so.
I'm talking about the offense here. Who was involved with that?
Oh, yeah, that was my boyfriend. Yes, me and him were together at the time. We split up for about 3 months because he had gotten really bad on meth. And I couldn't deal with his crap anymore. So he went to his sister's house and stayed there for about 3 months, got clean. He's smoking marijuana at this point in time. He does have a medical marijuana card. He was working at Parkman BP, but due to transportation, he can't get from where we live in Aquila to the gas station in Parkman anymore. He was living across the street with his sister. He has an interview Friday at Orbis. It's a very large company.
Well, if this guy uses drugs all the time, why are you hanging around him?
He has a medical marijuana card.
So what?
Why
does he have a medical marijuana card?
I didn't ask.
Okay.
He got that while he was at his sister's house, because I know she has one also. And then besides that, my neighbors, like the other day, I came outside and my whole backyard reeked of weed because they sit over there in the driveway and in the garage freaking getting high all day long. Yeah.
Is that Ashley?
Yes. Yeah, she was actually in that vehicle getting high right before she came at me.
They buy it from her.
Or they sit over there getting high and drunk all day in that freaking car in the driveway. At that point in time, they had been pulled out and just staring across my backyard. And that her mom got out the vehicle first, went into the garage. She got out of the passenger side of the vehicle, was still holding the door, just looking over at me, stupid.
That's a charge you have in Chardon, right?
Yes.
I don't want to hear about that. You don't want to tell me about that. Okay. So what is it you need to do? Hold on, I'm not done. What is it you need to do to straighten yourself out so that you stop coming back here for offenses? What do you need to do?
I need to go back to work, which is, as long as I don't go to jail today, was my plan to put in the application. Why don't you go to work then? Well, I haven't gone because I have this charge hanging over my head that I don't know if I'm getting locked up today or not.
Okay.
I didn't want to apply and possibly burn a bridge at a company knowing that I have this over my head.
Let's see. This happened in May. Why weren't you working before this happened in May?
Well, whenever I got out of prison, I started working as a cleaning lady, but I really sucked at that job. I couldn't, between the 3 houses that I was cleaning, it was like around 9,000 square feet.
How long has your brother's been working at Orbis?
My one brother has been there about 2.5 years. My other brother started after my father's death in January last year. He actually died January 3rd last year, which is, and my old man's mother died December 26th last year, which is when everything started going just bad. I mean, his mom and my dad died within 100 days of me being released from prison. I had just lost my job as a cleaning lady, and everything just went bad. And
All right, so you need to work. That's one thing. What else you need to do?
Stay away from people, which is why I've just been staying at my house in Aquila.
Except Riho smokes pot.
Right now, he don't have money for pot, and he's actually getting ready to go to a job that requires a drug test. So, Orbis requires drug tests also.
Well, why do you need to stay away from people, you said?
Because, like, example I gave everybody else is, like a couple weeks ago, a month ago, somebody called me up, asked me if I knew where to get rid of subs.
Get rid of what?
Subs, Suboxone.
Okay. Why would somebody call you and ask you that?
Because I don't know why they would call and ask me that.
Probably because
just like I told them, I don't know.
Probably because they think you have some knowledge of that and where to go.
And that's why I don't want to meet people, because I don't want to have the knowledge of where to get rid of them at.
Okay, well, if you work, you're not going to be able to stay away from people.
Well, no, it is the drug-free company, Orbis. They require drug tests.
Okay. So, what else do you need to do?
Just to pull my life back together. How it was before I went to prison, where I was running my 2 companies that I built from nothing. I went into a bad slump. My mom died a week before my arrest. I get home within 100 days. My old man's mom, I've known since high school, freaking died. My dad died a week later. And I just lost my job. I ended up losing my apartment, and my whole life went to crap. And I've just been waiting for get through the court so that I can, because I don't want to burn a bridge at a potentially good company. My brother, they get great benefits there. They pay good. They do random drug screens because it is a drug-free employment. So I'm actually, because I didn't know that my test came up. Anyways, they have the holiday pay, vacation pay. Even my brother was off work for a month because of his leg with the doctor's note. And they even gave him half pay for that time. It's a good company.
So when's your interview?
I'm going to put in my application as soon as I leave here, and I'll probably have an interview next week. I took my boyfriend about a week to get his interview. I put his application in last week because you have to do them online.
Where's he today?
He is at home sleeping.
It's 9:30.
He might have woke up at this point. He typically does wake up early because he got up and was waking me up around 5:30. But I think he was laying back down when I left. I'm not sure if he laid back down.
How'd you get here today?
The young lady behind me.
Who?
Miss Mayer from my office drove her.
My brothers work second shift. Huh?
Who's that?
The young lady behind me. I don't know her name. My brothers work second shift, so they don't typically get in till midnight, and they really don't like getting up this early in the morning. And I don't know anybody else I would consider reliable.
Why don't you have a license?
Because I couldn't make my fine payment in Geauga. My van was stolen beginning of June. And the guy that I was working for at the junkyard just never paid me.
Okay, you got to get a job where you go to a place regularly. You work, you're on the payroll, and you get paid. That's what you need to do. You don't need to run a taxi service. You can't run a taxi service because you don't have a license. Okay?
No,
You don't need to be a full-time mechanic with people bringing their cars to your slab, okay? Because you ain't making any money. And you ain't making any money, you don't have a license, so then you sell drugs to make money, and you end up here.
That's why I want to get this done and over so that I can go back to work at a regular company and pull things together.
You mean go to work at a regular company?
Well, for 10 years, my service was actually successful. I started the taxi service back in 2012.
You don't have a license. You don't have a license, you can't have a taxi service.
I can't do it at this point, no.
Okay? You need to get out of bed every day, go to work, go home, stop using drugs, stop selling drugs, stop hanging around people that are using drugs and selling drugs, because then you end up here, okay? And people aren't calling you out of the blue asking where to get rid of subs if you have no knowledge of where to get rid of subs. So you've given me not even a half story today. You've given me about a quarter story of what really goes on in your life. And I don't believe you. I don't believe you about the pipe that you took to probation. I don't believe you that you didn't know you were smoking pot because you're hanging around a pot smoker for a long time. You hang around other people that use drugs, that you use drugs with, that you sell drugs. That's what you do. The question is whether you're ever going to stop doing it. Are you ever going to stop doing it?
I quit doing it from my mid-20s into my mid-30s.
That's a lie, okay? Because nobody calls you up and asks you where to get rid of subs if they already don't have the knowledge that you know how to get rid of subs.
I've never sold a sub.
Okay. All right.
That's how come those ones
So we're in like completely different universes here, you and I, okay? I see one thing, you tell me another. It doesn't matter what I point out to you.
No, I understand.
You're still over on Mars over here, and I'm on Earth, okay?
I understand what you're saying. The guy probably was asking me because back in like 2018, I knew where to get rid of his gabapentin at.
How did you know that?
Because I gone to IOP.
You hadn't been doing this stuff since your 20s. How would you know in 18 where to get rid of gabapentin?
Because I went to IOP and I met some heroin addicts that were trying to figure out that were looking for gabapentin. That's why I don't really want to go.
I have, it's clear to me that it doesn't matter what I do, I will have zero impact on you. Because everything I've said to you so far goes right above your head. You're not listening because you don't want to listen.
No, I've agreed with you that yes, work is what I need to go do. Like I said, I just didn't apply at the company because I don't want to burn the bridge with the company if I were to get locked up today. I do believe that I can come in here and pass the drug test regularly.
All I know is every time I turn on the TV news, depending on the station, this is the greatest economy in the history of civilized mankind, okay? That guy keeps telling me that. Okay, so there should be plenty of jobs out there.
There are plenty of jobs. Like I said,
then get one.
Don't want to burn the bridge with the company.
Get one.
I can do that if.
So once again, I could tell you, I can order you to do 10 different things. But clearly, you're going to do exactly what you want to do.
No, my plan is if I get to leave here today to go get a job.
Why are you depending on, when you say get to leave here today, what do you mean?
Not go to jail. That's why I haven't applied, because I didn't want to lose the job.
Who determines if you go to jail?
You,
Why?
because you're the judge.
Okay. Why are you putting yourself in a position where somebody else is telling you where you're going to go in the next 5 minutes? Why are you doing that?
Because I was in a bad place back in May.
Okay.
I ended up in a very bad place back in May. I honestly, I actually had my boyfriend arrested in January for domestic against me.
Riho?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it strikes me as odd that when you were in Geauga County for the 4-count indictment on May 26th of 21, that Judge Andre just sent you to prison.
Yes.
Because you have, that was your first felony.
Yes. As an adult, yes.
Okay. It strikes me as inconceivable that Judge Andre in Geauga County would send you to prison for 18 months on your first felony, based on what you told me how these offenses occurred. Okay? So that just goes to the fact that you're...
He said that he was doing it because he felt that I would sell drugs to anybody because I sold drugs to a guy I didn't know.
Okay. Well, all right. All right. Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state would ask that you adopt the joint recommendation for community control sanctions to include either JTP or NeoCap. Thank you.
Am I correct in assuming that this is a joint recommendation of community control because both attorneys here feel that she's amenable to community control and will comply with community control sanctions? Ms. Bell?
The state's recommendation is coming from a place where it's obvious that treatment is necessary. As far as her amenability, I guess we'll see.
Ms. Tuttle?
Your Honor, Ms. McKenna is asking the court for an opportunity to show you that she is amenable.
So we don't know if she's amenable. Don't I have to find that under the statutory scheme employed by the state legislature? Anyway, that's just a rhetorical question. One of the most frustrating things as I sit here day after day is that almost nobody listens. Almost nobody complies with the terms of community control. Maybe 10% do.
As I said, I've completed probation successfully out of this county 3 times prior. Without incarceration.
Your main motivation and focus this morning is to not go to jail this morning, right?
If I don't go to jail this morning, then I'll be able to go and apply at Orbis and take the job there.
You've told me that a half dozen times, okay? Is your main motivation this morning to stay out of jail?
I would prefer to.
Okay. Shouldn't your main motivation be to do what you have to do to make sure you never come back here again? Shouldn't that be the main motivation in the long run? I'm taking the
Well,
long
yeah,
run.
and complying with community control would successfully complete that.
Okay, and who controls that?
Well, I would be in control of whether or not I complete that successfully.
Right. Who else would be in control of that?
Well, that would be you ordering it.
Wouldn't be me. Wouldn't be me.
Well, it would be
only-
your order, but,
The only person who controls it is you.
yeah. Yeah, the outcome of that would be based on my behavior and actions, correct?
Okay, so let's get back to the original discussion we had, which was this January 2nd appointment at Lake Geauga somewhere in Chardon. I have my doubts as to whether that ever occurred, okay? And I have my doubts, if it did occur, that the recommendation was one counseling session per week and a couple of
If you call Anne Marie, she'll tell
virtual,
you.
non-reality AA meetings.
If you call Anne Marie, she'll tell
I'm
you.
not calling Amber. Not my
I
job
could
to
show
call
you the
her.
message on my phone where they actually confirmed the appointment.
It seems like an odd recommendation from Lake Geauga. But they're an odd organization, so it's not a complete surprise.
She said that it would normally have been IOP, but because of me explaining to her how I'm not trying to meet people, she was going to go with the individual sessions. Because I really am trying to avoid, to stay out of that freaking scene, out of that trouble.
Trouble is everywhere. If you walk out the door today and you go out to East Erie Street and you walk down half a block or a block, you'll probably find availability of drugs. Or you could walk that way. Or you could walk north. Or you could walk south. You're going to find it wherever it is. Because it's everywhere.
That is true.
Okay? So the question is what you do when you come across that situation.
I don't go to those neighborhoods, so I don't have to come across that situation.
Pick a neighborhood, okay?
I pretty much.
There's probably drugs in Chardon.
I very rarely go into Chardon. That's only with my brother whenever he drives me up there to go to the store, or whenever the peer supporter picks me up to take me to
Unless
Lake
you're going to
Geauga.
go full Kaczynski in a 12 by 12 cabin in Montana, you're going to find drugs everywhere you go. Okay? So, all right. I looked at the pre-sentence report, the drug and alcohol evaluation, listened to everybody, considered all the statutes. So I'm going to place you on community control for 3 years. I'll give you 9 days in jail with credit for 9. You're going to follow all the recommendations made to you by Lake Geauga. That you've reported to me that they made to you on January 2nd. So you're going to do that, you're going to follow all recommendations. Who's their probation officer?
It's gonna be, Jennifer, Your Honor.
Okay. So you're going to get to Jennifer. What's the name of this person at Lake Geauga?
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. You're going to get that report from Anne Marie and give it to Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
So Jennifer could see it. Okay. And eventually so I could see it. You're gonna get full employment, and that means like a regular job. It doesn't mean a taxi service. It doesn't mean a home repair business, okay? A home mechanics business. It means a job. You're gonna get a valid driver's license. And you're gonna pay the costs and supervision fees. Now, this isn't anything like the state recommended. It's not anything like probation recommended. It's what you're telling me you need to do to straighten out your life.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to determine if you straighten out your life. So if I were you, I'd be very careful about what you're ingesting into your body. I'd be very careful about hanging around somebody who likes to smoke pot all the time, so you don't accidentally smoke marijuana. Because now that you know, okay, that you accidentally smoked marijuana that resulted in a positive test, you're going to know when you go to smoke that tobacco, you're going to take all the caution in the world to make sure that it's tobacco. Okay? Because I've heard a million excuses from you, which I don't believe. Okay? But let's say for the sake of argument, they're true. They can't be true anymore under any circumstance if you come back here again. Now, one of two things have happened here this morning. You've either believed everything you've told me, okay? Or you've done your best to bullshit me as best you can.
Ding, ding, ding.
Either way, if you continue on either one of those paths, you're going to fail. But that's on you. Any question about the terms?
No, sir.
Ms. Warren?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Just the forfeiture, Your Honor.
You mean the methamphetamine that belonged to Riho? Did that belong to Riho?
No.
Who did it belong to?
I had it on me. I had gotten it because he was asking me to get it. He was driving me crazy for 2 days to get that.
Okay.
But I got it. It was mine.
Why don't you tell Riho to fend for himself?
That's why we split up for 3 months.
Anything else, Ms. Tuttle?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, listen. You come back here on a violation, and you're going to go back to where you were when you got out of Andre's court for 12 months. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And I guarantee you that hearing will be a lot shorter than this one. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, We made it. Okay, just so you know, if you didn't before, that lady that was sitting next to her that whole time, yeah, that's her lawyer. Her lawyer didn't say anything. Her lawyer didn't stop her from saying anything. I know the judge expects her to talk, but her lawyer could have said a couple times, okay, okay, shut up, shut up. She didn't. She sat there and she just let it go. I think she knew she wasn't going to get jail. So she was like, whatever, let's just get through this. But yeah, that's her lawyer. No, it's in Ohio, so it's 8 a.m. right now. So, yep, she's violating right this moment. right right now she's violating. She'll be back. She's not going to, who knows? She did probation 3 times before successfully, and then the one time, the fourth one, not so successfully, and she went back to jail. But obviously probation is not working because she's already done it 3 times. And I don't know why she's done probation 3 times, since she hasn't sold drugs since what, her 20s. Everything she said was a lie. Me watching it over again with you guys, it's just worse. It's just so many lies. I don't know what to do. But usually I try to end it on a little clip of funny or something like that, but no. I'm ending it here on this clip because this clip deserves the ending. Guys, don't do this. Don't be like her. If you ever wonder if your life is going good or bad, just rewatch this clip and you'll be fine. Or thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. Or I don't even know. Okay, I know it. Who was the one from New Zealand? What time was it there? Anyway, it could be night, it could be day for any of you. But thanks for joining me. I will get more from Ohio. They have bad audio though. They have bad videos, so it's hard to get those because even if they're good, you guys don't like it very much. So I don't get them very much. But thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Oh, there we go. AM. It's AM. Lightfoot. You need to go to bed. Go to bed. I'll go with you. I'm going to bed right now. I've been up all night.